this is really the highlight car of the event for us here. It's the new 2019 911 GT3 RS with the Weissach package. So what is, you know where Weissach is?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So Weissach, obviously the R&D center for Porsche in Germany, outside of Stuttgart, where the magic happens. And Weissach package is a new lightweight option package for the GT3 RS and also for the GT2 RS. Consists of a number of carbon fiber components, for example, the carbon fiber roof that replaces the standard magnesium roof on the car, carbon fiber suspension components such as sway bars, end links, and also the option to order in conjunction with that package the magnesium wheels. So all in all, you're saving about 40 pounds when you order the wheels and the Weissach package over the regular car. So even more track focused, even more precise, you can feel it on turn-in. It's something that we haven't had on the 911 range before. We introduced it on the GT2 RS last year and expanded it to the new GT3 RS this year.
I think this is beautiful. So the GT2 RS would be naturally aspirated. This would be a turbocharged, twin turbocharged car. Other way around. So the
GT3 RS is the twin turbo flat six that we have in that car, 700 horsepower.
And then this is naturally aspirated.
This is a naturally aspirated 4-liter, which is the most powerful naturally aspirated engine we've ever had in a 911 for the road. 520 horsepower. There's never been a naturally aspirated engine that powerful in a road-going 911 before.
Wow. And so this would be rear-wheel drive, or is this all-wheel drive?
Rear-wheel drive. All RS models, all GT models are rear-wheel drive. It's about being light. It's about being focused on the track. We do have our turbos if you want a high amount of horsepower and all-wheel drive, which you're familiar with those cars. You know, they're great cars in winter with the proper set of snow tires. But the RS models, GT cars are rear-wheel drive.
So these wheels, the magnesium wheels, it's one tool to take them off. It's a
center lock tool. So it's center lock piece. And it comes from racing, and the advantage to that is a lighter wheel hub.
I always think it's funny. You said 40 pounds of weight. I see it in the chat room now. I feel like I should just lose 40 pounds, and then the car could maintain its weight, or maybe both. We lost 80 pounds
That's
together.
one way to do it, and maybe if you're really going for that lap record, that's another opportunity. But this way, you don't have to sacrifice, whatever you like to eat, and you still get the weight loss.
There you go. I like it. Can we get up and take a closer look? The brakes are huge, by the way. Are these? They look like they're maybe 15-inch rotors. They could be the 13s or 14s. It's hard to tell them.
They're actually a little bigger than that. Yeah,
they are.
They're on the 15-inch side. These are the standard cast iron rotors with the red calipers that identify them as cast iron steel brakes. We do offer a ceramic brake setup for the car that reduces the weight of the rotors by about 50%. And less unsprung weight, even more fade resistance on track. So if you're really going for the ultimate track setup, then get the PCCBs, as we call them.
Is this a car you could drive every day? Do you feel that's a car you could drive every day, or you really should look at a turbo if you're going to do that with the all-wheel drive? And
certainly a greater envelope of daily usability than this car does. But having said that, I think maybe you get the optional front axle lift system that raises the front end of the car by a good inch and a half when you're clearing that driveway. But I think we could make do. We do offer a snow tire for this car.
Really? Yeah. I would look. You don't need to bring it out in the snow. You could, the 4 times it snows, don't go out in this car. That's all. But yes, it could be fun. Is this is the newest Welltail, I guess, especially for this, right?
This is the standard rear wing that can be manually adjusted in 3 settings depending on the amount of downforce you want to generate on the rear axle. This is the road setting where it's comparatively flat. But you can also increase the angle of attack, as we call it, to increase the downforce, get more weight on the rear end if you're going on a track for those high-speed corners.
Now, these vents are all functional, right? This is venting air from...
These vents vent air from the wheelhouse, and it's not so much to cool the brakes. It is to reduce the amount of high pressure that's generated through the spinning wheel in the wheel well, which is essentially lifting the car up a bit and reducing the amount of downforce the car can produce. So venting the wheel arches reduces that amount of pressure and lets the car sit firmer on the road. So it's all part of keeping the car on the road as firmly as possible at high speeds, on tracks, etc.
These would be the air dams for the engine, obviously.
Yeah, ram air, and increase airflow at higher speeds. Those are NACA ducts, and I'm sure you've seen them on some cars before, and those are there to cool the brakes. So
that's what's cooling the brakes. This relieves pressure, and so this is relieving pressure. That's cooling the brakes, and in the back we're
ram air to the engine.
Yeah. And obviously not as necessary as it used to be with Porsche being liquid cooled now as opposed to air cooled, but always still very important. And you need obviously a lot of air to make the engine work.
This is a very high output engine. It's pushing 130 horsepower per liter. We do have a Pdk transmission that's controlled by oil pumps, clutches. So the car does generate a lot of heat from the powertrain, and we need to cool that down. That's why you have an extensive amount of radiators up front and all the functional channels feeding and extracting air from the respective places to maintain stability, but also temperature.
Other than the magnesium wheels and the ceramic brakes, are there any features that you can add to this car that we haven't talked about?
Well, if you're really hardcore like the both of us are, you can delete the air conditioning system.
I'm not that hardcore.
But to be honest, not very many people go for that because let's say we're at a hot track day or just driving down Fifth Avenue in the summertime, you kind of want air conditioning.
Yes, I agree completely. I love the fit and finish. Take me through the seats. I want to open the door and let the
seats you've probably seen before, the full bucket seats. They came out on the 918 Spider. They do offer an electric height adjustment, but they have a fixed backrest, so they're very lightweight, offer a ton of lateral support. And they are standard on this car. They are standard on the GT3 RS. They can also be ordered on the 911 Carrera T. Great seat for what the car is, for that purpose of holding you in place as you drive across your favorite road.
I noticed that the door handles are fabric. That'll save weight as well, or not really?
Weight as well. It's part of the lightweight door panel along with these storage nets. You know, we normally have pockets here that fold out, and a lightweight measure as well. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And it's also a visual differentiator from an RS model to a quote-unquote regular 911.
Right. I think it's actually fun. It's stunning. I would love to go around the driver's side and show that off. You've got the twin exhaust pipes right in the middle. I like that. Yep, the center tailpipes. And then here, you know, from the cockpit, you still keep the key on the left, so you start the car on the left side.
It's tradition. It dates back to our racing days. I think we talked about this last year.
Yeah, you're starting the car while you have your other hand on the stick.
When Le Mans was a standing start, that's how they did it. It saves a little bit of time. So you could put the seatbelt on with one hand, start the car with the other, and you're off.
I love the gauges. I always talk about this. If anybody wants to ask about gauges or watches or whatever, you just have to look at the Porsche gauges right here. They're absolutely beautiful in any 911. Yeah. And you guys have a huge gauge cluster, and I'm glad that you haven't gone. I know in some of the other cars you've gone to LCD screens that replicate this, but to me, to have the actual analog gauges are perfect.
Even on that car, cars like the Cayenne or the Panamera, we still have the analog tachometer in the middle. The rev counter is still analog.
Very nice.
Yeah.
As far as the center stack, it's all Porsche. It's what you come to expect from Porsche. This has got the Pdk transmission. Can you get it in manual?
The RS models, no. RS stands for Rennsport in German, racing sport. So these cars are all about being fast, being quick on a track, and the Pdk is the best tool for the job for that. We do offer manual on the regular GT3, so it is available there, including with the touring package, which is the no-cost option package that deletes the big rear wing, makes the car a little more subtle, and it's standard on every other 911 Carrera and Targa model manual transmission. So we have a number of cars with manual. Most of our cars are standard. The two-door sports cars are standard with manual, all 718s, most of the 911s, but RS is really about speed, and the Pdk helps us be fast.
Very nice. And then have we stepped up into Android Auto and Apple CarPlay?
Yes. Apple CarPlay is standard on the car. We don't offer Android Auto at the moment simply because market research showed us that most of our users have Apple phones. We are looking into that solution with Android, but we haven't come to a decision on that yet. But all 911s, all Cayennes, all Panameras come with our Connect Plus suite of infotainment and online features. In-car Wi-Fi, real-time traffic information, and so forth, and it also includes Apple CarPlay, and Apple CarPlay is also available on the 718s and the Macan.
Very nice. The size of these wheels, let's step off the turntable here as we kind of go to the Carrera T. Just tell me real quick what the size of the wheels are.
So these are the largest wheels and tires on any 911. They're 21-inch wheels in the rear and a 325 section width rear tire. So what that means is in the GT3 RS and also the GT2 RS, you have about a 20% larger contact patch, so more grip, 20% larger contact patch than the regular 911 GT3. So in conjunction with the higher amount of downforce, this is the car to go around high speed corners in, for sure.
And in the back, you've got 325, 30 sidewall, and they're 21s ZR rated. Wow,
Right.
wow.
20s in the front.
20s in the front.
There's multiple ways of driving this car, but all of them will put a smile on your face.
Exactly.
And how you choose to do that is really up to you.